Today is day number 8 of the fermentation process. We are going to go ahead and start racking the wine now. As you can see, fermentation has really slowed down, so now it's time to start the racking process. The purpose of racking the wine is to make it more airtight, to prevent air from getting into the bucket. And that's why we're going to be putting them into glass 1-gallon jugs next. We're going to go ahead and sterilize a lot of equipment next. First thing is we're going to get 2 cups of distilled water again. As you can see, we have a siphon hose here and Camden tablets again, and a little spoon for stirring if we need it later on, and some cheesecloth. I'm going to place 1 Camden tablet into the bucket, and I'm going to go ahead and put in this 2 cups of distilled water in there. I want to put in my siphon hose in here, and I want to put the cheesecloth in here, and then I'm going to cover it with a lid, and I'm going to shake it up real good to get the cheesecloth, the siphon hose, and the bucket itself, the container, totally sterilized. Now this bucket has been sterilized. The other one that's been fermenting, we're going to remove the lid from that, and you can see we got all the grapes up on top again. We're going to stir them down for a final time, and then we're going to pour all this mixture into the new bucket through some cheesecloth. So I'm going to stir it right now, and then we'll pour it next. We are now taking the cheesecloth and we're going to wrap it around this bucket here. And we're going to pour the must into this bucket. Now what's going in there is the grapes, the barley, the oak chips. We didn't use barley this time. The yeast, everything. And now we're going to turn around, pull this cheesecloth up, and all that's going to be left is just the juice that comes through this cheesecloth. And this is going to take a while, so we're going to go ahead and stop the video while I let this slowly drain. Okay, well, what we got is all the grapes in here and all the juices, and there's no way we can squeeze a bag this big. So what we do is put this back in the other bag, and we open it up, you're going to see just a puree of grape. And I'm going to take 1 cupful at a time and put it into a smaller strainer and scoop it out of here. I'm going to grab this little Pyrex glass and reach in here and grab 1 cupful at a time. I'm going to put it in yet another container, which is right here, a smaller little sock, and I'm going to go ahead and squeeze that into the big jug. Now this sock's already been sterilized with the Camden solution. Okay, now we've got just a standard little kitchen strainer. We're going to put that piece of cheesecloth over there and hold it over the bucket with all the must, and we're going to pour this scoop of puree in there. And now what I want to do is just grab it and just squeeze it all in there. Much easier squeezing a little tiny sock than that entire huge bucket we had earlier. We just squeeze as much as we can out there, and we're going to repeat this process until we've gone through this entire container of must. Well, that's where the must used to be. And there's where the must is now, still about 4 gallons, so we really got most of the juice out. And all the spent grape particles and chips and everything are in this bucket. Now all these spent grapes you can throw in the compost pile, and you can use it for fertilizer or whatever you want. We're going to use that same solution we used earlier to sterilize the buckets, and we're going to pour it into these 1 gallon containers, and we're going to go ahead, put a lid on each container and shake them up real good to sterilize these containers. Don't mind the camera shaking. Now we're going to use this handy dandy water siphon device. $10.95 what it cost. Your initial start out cost might be a little bit expensive, but after that, once you got all your equipment, you're good to go. Alright, now we are going to siphon the grape juice into these 1 gallon bottle containers. Most importantly, you want to make sure this tube is in here. And then you put this other side siphon tube into here and give it 1 pump, and there you go. It's that easy. They don't make siphoning wine any easier than this. Okay, so just about full. When it's about full, we're going to pinch it, put it in another bottle. So here she comes, and we'll pinch it right about here. Put it in the next bottle. And there you go, on the next bottle. You always try to keep your holes in the bottom to prevent oxygen from splashing down into the container, because you don't want oxygen in your wine. Now this original bottle, we're going to go ahead and cap it off just for the moment until we put our airlocks on it and move it out of the way so we can get ready for the next bottle. Well, there's 3.5 gallons of must. That's pure grape concentrate, and now we're going to have to put on the airlocks on them to prevent oxygen from getting in there. Next, we want to get the specific gravity of the must, of the grape juice. So we're going to pour some grape juice from this jug into this little beacon here, and I'm going to try to do it holding the camera with one hand, and I'm going to try. I can't. Alright, we are going to now put in the hydrometer in there. Everyone needs a hydrometer, and we'll find out what the specific gravity is for this liquid. We put in the hydrometer and we're getting our readings. Right now we got an alcohol percent of 15. It's 15% alcohol. Pretty ass-kicking wine right now. Now we got a reading of approximately 1.12. 1.12 is a medium sweet wine, which is just about right. That's exactly where we want it. If you want it to be really sweet, then you'd have a reading of 1.14. Alright, now we need to put 4 airlocks on these 4 bottles of wine. So we're going to get these 4, and we're going to grab them all. We're going to throw them in this bucket of that Campton tablet solution. Get real good. We're going to fill these airlocks with some Campton solution, not spill it all over the place, so we can keep oxygen out of there and let the carbon dioxide get out of it. Okay, we're good to go for another day.